Welcome back to another Explainer, everyone. I am seriously so thrilled you're joining us today. We're going to be taking this really fascinating, kind of deep dive into the mind of an author who's been documenting their daily pursuit of self-reflection over on a blog called Brainy Wisdom. If you're someone who loves dissecting exactly how we think, how we navigate this crazy modern world, and how we can ultimately live a better life, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to transform all these curated thoughts into a clear visual roadmap. So clear your mind, get comfortable, and let's embark on this journey of self-reflection together.
Okay, let's just dive right into this. What are you most proud of in your life? Man, that's a heavy hitter right out of the gate, isn't it? But really, this question acts as a sort of profound anchor. It instantly bypasses all those trivial, everyday things we stress over and forces us to zoom in on our core values. By exploring our happiness, our wisdom, and the frequency at which we live our lives, we actually start to uncover what genuinely matters to us. Keep this question in the back of your mind as we move forward.
And as you'll see, this isn't just some random brain dump. It's an actual, documented timeline of someone's philosophical evolution. Just look at this. Back in March, the author was super focused on consumerism and picturing life at 100 years old. Then by May, the focus shifted over to defining legacy and true freedom. Fast forward to June, and we see a pivot toward critiquing media frequencies. And finally, by October, this deep reflection on pride and happiness. It brilliantly shows that acquiring wisdom, it isn't a one-and-done event. It's an ongoing, everyday practice.
All right, moving into Section 1, the self and the past, looking inward.
Because hey, before we can understand the world around us, we really have to look in the mirror first. So, describe a decision you made in the past that helped you learn or grow. Take a second, really think about that. Usually, you'll find that our biggest periods of growth come from the exact decisions that were the absolute hardest to make at the time. Our past isn't just some dusty history book, it's an active classroom if we actually choose to view it that way.
And this brilliantly illustrates a really fascinating dichotomy of time. On one side, we're looking backward. What is something you wish you could tell your 20-year-old self? Which, sure, invites a little bit of regret, but mostly it extracts wisdom. But then, look at the contrast right next to it. Write a letter to your 100-year-old self. Now, suddenly, you're viewing your current life as just the middle chapter of a much longer continuum. It forces you to ask, are the choices I'm making today actually going to make my 100-year-old self proud? It's just a totally game-changing mental model for long-term thinking.
But introspection doesn't always have to be so heavy and serious. Brainy Wisdom loves to sprinkle in these rapid-fire microprompts, like what are your top 5 favorite fruits? What are your favorite emojis? List 3 books that had an impact on you, or describe something you learned in high school. These letter questions are just great for keeping the mental gears turning. They remind us that who we are is made up of both those massive, life-altering decisions and, just our simple, everyday preferences. Both are totally valid parts of who we are.
So, let's shift gears to Section 2, the state of the modern world, societal critique.
Now that we've looked inward, let's flip the lens outward for a second. Check out this striking quote from the blog. The modern world must have been experiencing brain freeze for the last 8, 9, 10 years. And partially speaking, that captures a very real, very distinct societal frustration. It perfectly juxtaposes the author's deep personal reflections with this broad observation that society as a whole seems kind of stuck. Paralyzed maybe, or just endlessly distracted? Which, honestly, leads us perfectly into this pretty provocative question. Do you remember life before the internet? Now, depending on your age, your answer is going to vary, but the core point remains exactly the same. It emphasizes just how fundamentally technology has rewired our collective focus. It's completely changed our jobs, how we talk to our neighbors, and definitely the sheer frequency at which we consume information.
And right in line with that technological shift, the author states, hedonism sells, not just sex. So the crucial point here is that we are constantly being marketed pure pleasure, instant gratification, endless comfort. We're literally fighting a daily uphill battle against systems that are expertly designed to capture our attention using these hedonistic triggers.
And let's see how this builds into this next concept, consumerism and the sunlight dilemma. Just think about what that phrasing implies. We're essentially trading the natural world, the literal sunlight, for the artificial glow of our screens and this endless loop of consumerism. It's a pretty stark reminder of our growing disconnect from nature, and it acts as this overarching theme for why the modern world might be experiencing that massive brain freeze we were just talking about.
Okay, moving right along to Section 3, habits and daily action, taking control.
So, if the modern world is basically this giant distraction machine, how on earth do we fight back? Well, it starts right here, What are your morning rituals? Seriously, what does the very first hour of your day actually look like? Are you actively choosing your focus, or are you just immediately letting the internet or the morning news dictate your mood? Self-improvement literally starts the second you open your eyes. Your daily habits, those are the armor you wear to protect yourself against that societal brain freeze.
So let's break down the actionable steps the author lays out to combat this. Step 1. Write your guide to setting healthy boundaries in relationships. You absolutely have to protect your peace. Step 2. Train yourself to seek healthy foods. Physical input dictates mental output, right? Step 3. Say no to things that interfere with your goals. This one is huge. Focus is just as much about what you reject as what you accept. And Step 4. Invest physically, mentally, intellectually, and spiritually. It's the whole shebang, a completely holistic approach. These aren't just fluffy ideas, they are active, daily choices designed to keep you grounded.
And of course, the ultimate test of all those daily actions boils down to this incredibly relatable question. How do you balance work and home life? Because at the end of the day, all the boundaries and healthy eating in the world are ultimately just tools to help you answer this one question successfully. It perfectly connects all that high-level philosophy right back to the universal, everyday struggle we all face of maintaining a balanced lifestyle.
All right, bringing us to our final section, the future and legacy, looking forward.
So we've looked at the past, we've audited our present habits, and now we're shifting the narrative to our ultimate destination. Let's do a quick rapid fire of forward-looking questions here to really spark some thoughts. First up, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And I don't just mean professionally, I mean mentally, spiritually. Have you actually sat down and mapped that out?
Next one. What does having it all mean to you? And more importantly, is it even attainable? I absolutely love this question because it points out just how entirely subjective fulfillment really is. Society's definition of having it all might be wealth and status, but your definition? It might literally just be having a quiet morning ritual and a backyard garden. You have to clearly define the target before you can even hope to hit it.
And then, wow, we arrive at this incredibly heavy question. What is the legacy you want to leave behind? Let's just take a beat and let that sink in. Because when all is said and done, beyond the daily habits, way beyond the consumerism, what is your lasting impact on this world going to be? It strips away all the daily noise and forces us to confront our ultimate purpose.
Which brings us to this specific quote from the text that I think perfectly encapsulates the core thesis of our entire journey today. I demand to be able to apply what you allow me to learn. Now that is just absolutely brilliant. It highlights a hard truth. Acquiring wisdom, reading blogs, watching explainers, it is all completely useless if you don't actually apply it. It's an active demand of oneself, and maybe even the universe, that this knowledge has to translate into real, tangible action. So, I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought. What is one small improvement you can make in your life? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Please don't let this just be another piece of media you consumed and forgot about. Take the wisdom, apply it, and start making that one small improvement right now. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. It's been a total blast, and I cannot wait to see what you build with your mind.